This whole training session with Deen and AB is honestly a perfect example of why so many people don't believe these guys are actually ready for a real fight. They got a fight coming up against an MMA or UFC fighter, and from what I'm seeing, the discipline just isn't there yet. Let's start with the obvious stuff. Somebody in that gym is literally coaching them through basics, transferring weight, throwing uppercuts, footwork, and reminding them that this isn't a game.
Turn. Better. Do it again. Good. Do it again. Ooh. What's that? You got roll, baby.
Your life is on the line every time you get in that ring. That's real talk. That's not an exaggeration. People have gotten seriously hurt in exhibition fights before, and the coach is right to be pressing them about locking in for these 45 days before the fight. But here's the problem. Right after training, what happens? AB drinks somebody's Gatorade after being told not to touch it. That's such a small thing, but it says so much about his mentality right now. If you can't respect somebody telling you, hold my Gatorade, don't drink it, how are you going to respect a training camp? How are you going to respect a strict diet? How are you going to respect the discipline it takes to actually get in shape for a real fight? Think about what that moment actually represents. Somebody trusted AB to hold on to something and not touch it. That's a basic level of trust and respect between people, and AB couldn't even manage that. He drank the whole thing knowing it wasn't his. And then afterward, he's running to the shower trying to avoid the conversation about it, trying to act like he wasn't caught doing something he wasn't supposed to do. That's not just about Gatorade. That's about character. That's about whether you can be trusted with the small things. Because if you can't be trusted with small things like somebody's drink, how can we trust you with the big things like actually following a training regimen, actually sticking to a diet plan, actually showing up every single day and putting in the work required to get in fighting shape? And that's not even the biggest issue. The real problem comes out when they start talking about food after the workout. Somebody wants chips. Somebody wants Raisin Canes. And when people in the chat and in the room start calling them out for eating junk food right after training, AB gets defensive. He's like, I'm not on probation. I can have chips. He's treating basic nutrition discipline like it's some kind of restriction on his freedom, instead of understanding that if you want to actually perform in that ring, your diet has to be locked in. That defensive attitude is exactly the problem. When someone genuinely trying to help,
get under. You get hit when you don't get under. Bend them knees.
Come on, bring your ass on, man. Come on.
Bend them knees.
Let's go. Y'all fucking around. Let's go.
Bend them knees, man. Sit down, champ. What's up, baby? Grab it now. Hey, we go, oh yeah. Come through. Feel me? It's sweat getting in my eyes. I ain't got no towel. Okay. Sharp shit. Oh yeah.
help you points out that your food choices don't match your training goals. The mature response is to reflect on it, not get defensive about your personal freedom. Nobody's putting AB on probation. Nobody's controlling his life. People are just pointing out the obvious disconnect between wanting to be a legitimate fighter and eating like you're not actually training for anything serious. The coach even makes this point clear. He's naming real fighters Javon Davis, Devin Haney, Curtis Stevenson, even AB in his prime, and saying those guys could get away with cheat meals because they were training at a professional level. They were putting in the work that earned them the right to eat whatever they wanted occasionally. But right now, in this moment, Deen hasn't put in that work yet. He just started training. So the excuse of, well, the greats get away with it, doesn't apply to somebody who's brand new to serious training. That distinction matters so much. Elite fighters can sometimes break dietary rules because their bodies are already conditioned. Their metabolisms are dialed in from years of discipline, and their overall training intensity compensates for the occasional slip-up. But you can't borrow that privilege before you've earned it. You can't act like you're already at that elite level when you just started training weeks ago. That's the disconnect I'm seeing. They want the freedom and lifestyle of established fighters without putting in the same level of work. They want to eat whatever they want, party after training, drink each other's supplements, and still expect to walk into that ring and perform at a high level against somebody who trains professionally for a living. And that's genuinely concerning, because this isn't a video game, this is real physical combat. If Deen goes into that fight underprepared, undisciplined, and out of shape, he could get seriously hurt. MMA and UFC fighters train specifically for combat. They understand striking, grappling, conditioning at a level that these streamers are trying to pick up in a matter of weeks or months. The coach's message throughout this whole session is actually really solid advice if they just listen to it. He's telling them the party comes after the accomplishment, not before. He's telling them to stop chasing women and focus on the fight. He's telling them anything can happen in that ring, and their life is literally at risk. That's somebody who's genuinely trying to prepare them the right way. But then
we support the league more than his own people, nigga. Which one? Unless y'all niggas drinking, I ain't watching. I'm locked in. What about they?
Congratulations.
I'm trying to go buy one of those scales, man. I don't want no rinky-dink ass scale. I want one of them bad $300, $400 motherfuckers. Hey, I'm trying to buy one of them $400 scales, gang. Huh? So a nigga gets... Nah, we in LA.
Carter Cashin just tipped
we
$5.
ain't leaving this
Deen
motherfucker
not
45
taking
days.
shit
Look.
serious. How you eating junk food and asking for canes after a workout.
I can't, bitch. Bitch, I got 12 weeks, nigga. I'm not in camp, nigga.
you look at how AB and everybody around him are behaving, and it's clear the message isn't landing the way it should. They're joking around during training. They're talking about random stuff instead of locking in fully. AB is out there talking about how he's still floated and making jokes instead of taking the session as seriously as he should. What's also revealing is the conversation about AB potentially fighting again. Somebody's hyping him up saying with 6 to 10 months of training, he'll look sharp again, that his last fight loss was just a fluke because he wasn't in shape. But if the pattern we're seeing in this clip continues, drinking people's Gatorade, arguing about eating chips after training, not fully locking in during sessions, then 6 to 10 months isn't going to matter. You can't get in championship shape if your discipline outside the gym doesn't match your effort inside the gym. Boxing and fighting in general comes down to fundamentals, and the coach explains this really well. He compares it to basketball. You learn to dribble the ball straight first before you start doing tricks between your legs or behind your back. The fundamentals have to be there before anything fancy can work. And what I'm seeing from this session is that they're still very much in the fundamental stage, but their off-camera behavior isn't matching the intensity that stage requires. The Manny Pacquiao and Roy Jones references are interesting too, because the coach is basically saying some fighters can break the rules and still succeed, because they're just naturally gifted, or they've already mastered the basics so well that breaking convention actually works for them. But that's earned, that comes after years of disciplined training and natural talent honed to its peak. You don't get to skip to that stage. You don't get to act like Manny Pacquiao before you've even mastered walking before running. What concerns me most is the disrespect around resources during training. AB drinking someone's Gatorade after being explicitly told not to isn't just a minor annoyance. It's a signal about respect for boundaries and instructions in general. If you can't follow a simple instruction like, "Don't touch my drink," how do we trust that you're following your coach's instructions about technique, conditioning, recovery, and preparation? And that disrespect for boundaries extends to the diet conversation too. When someone in the chat points out that eating chips and asking for canes right after a workout doesn't align with serious training, the pushback is immediate and defensive instead of reflective. Instead of saying, "You're right, I need to be better about this," it becomes about personal freedom and not being on probation. That's exactly the wrong mentality when you're supposedly getting ready for a fight where your life could genuinely be at risk. I do think the coaching itself is solid. The technical instruction about transferring weight, staying balanced, not overreaching with punches, that's legitimate boxing fundamentals being taught correctly. If Deen and AB actually applied themselves to that instruction with the same intensity the coach is bringing, they could genuinely improve. The bones of good training are there. It's the surrounding behavior, the lack of discipline outside of the actual drilling, the disrespect for boundaries, the casual attitude toward diet, that undermines everything. So will Deen handle business in this fight? Based on what I'm seeing in this clip, I have serious doubts. Not because he lacks the coaching or the fundamentals being taught to him, but because the mentality required to actually apply those fundamentals under fight pressure isn't showing up yet. You can't half commit to training camp and expect full results in the ring. You can't treat basic instructions as suggestions and expect discipline to magically appear on fight night. If they actually locked in the way the coach is asking them to, respecting boundaries, cleaning up their diet, taking every session seriously instead of joking around, then maybe there's a chance. But based on this clip alone, the gap between what's being taught and what's being applied outside of active drilling time is concerning. Fighting isn't just about knowing the fundamentals. It's about consistency, discipline, and respect for the process. 24 hours a day, not just during the hour you're actually in the gym. Real fighters understand that the fight is won or lost in the months before you even step in the ring, in the meals you turn down, in the extra reps you put in when nobody's watching, in the boundaries you respect even when it's inconvenient. What I'm hoping for is that this clip serves as a wake-up call, not just entertainment. If Deen and AB actually watch this back and recognize the patterns I'm pointing out, the disrespect for boundaries, the defensive attitude about diet, the casual approach to serious training, maybe they course correct before fight night actually arrives. Because the alternative is walking into that ring against somebody who trains professionally, who doesn't argue about eating chips after a workout, who understands that discipline isn't optional when your safety is on the line. That's the real stakes here. Not just looking good on stream, not just getting content for the channel, but actually being prepared enough to protect yourself in there. And based on what I'm seeing right now, there's still a lot of work to do before that readiness shows up. Peace.